What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's the caffeine in my coffee. It's Desra.
And sitting across from me is the Brian Paul.
The Brian Paul.
I tried to do your thing, and I just, that's really hard.
Yeah,
to come up with that on the spot like that.
Welcome to my world. All right. And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we reach into the PlayStation VR archive. It's absolutely not even true this week.
Yeah, it's almost every week. This is the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, every so often we want to play a new game and we want to talk about it because we're super duper excited about it. And so, what game did we pick this week, Desra?
Well, let's see. I'm wearing my Under Armour shirt, my Olympic scarf. We're talking about sports. We're talking about a new sport, the sportiest sporting game that's ever sported. Well, maybe second sportiest, and that is Sprint Vector.
Sprint Vector.
Yes, this
Nice.
is really hot. I'm taking this off now.
Fantastic. Right? That's all
Prop humor.
Yeah. Sprint Vector came out on February 13th, 2018, mere days ago.
Wow, that was quite, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't, yeah. I don't know. We don't have to play rock, paper, scissors, slap unless there's a siren.
No,
Yeah.
all right. I didn't even know what that was.
I don't know. Sprint Vector came out February 13, 2018 for the price of $30. At launch, there was a discount, and if you happen to have PlayStation Plus, which you should, come on, guys, get on that. It was only $21.
And there's still a discount going right now, actually, as we speak.
No, not by the time this airs, but...
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yep, good
All
luck.
right. Whoops. Sorry.
I have no idea.
Strike that from the record.
We don't know when this is going to air, so bear with us. Check the store. It's the easy answer. All right, and it's by Survios. Survios, famous for making raw data.
Yes.
Raw data, I got to be honest. Raw data was a little buggy at launch.
Yeah, I actually haven't played Raw Data yet, so...
Raw data, like the first time I booted it up, it brought me into the first room and killed me. Like before you do. Before I had a chance to do anything, and it took multiple starts in moving myself around the room before I realized that I could start it in a different position and not die. It's been patched, everything's great, but still, that made me nervous for Sprint Vector.
So we approached with caution.
Right. I was like, Survios seems like a solid team because they're like making quality games.
Yep.
I was like, but something got passed through Sony's cert that shouldn't have.
And not only that, seeing the trailers, and the previews for this, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to play this.
Well, and that was the very first thing we all thought about.
Yep.
All of us here without Pro were like, is Des going to be able to play this game because of motion sickness? And Survios came out to say 99% of the people they play tested did not get motion sickness. And I was like, I bet we found the 1%. And so we threw this game at Des. And what happened?
Well, he dodged first and then recovered. Well, before we get into that, should we talk about what the game is for those of us?
If you'd like to.
Okay.
Okay. What is the game?
So basically, it's a race. It's a race, and instead of running with your feet, which would make that really difficult because you only have that 10-foot cord. It's a very short race. You actually use your arms. So think of like a cross-country skiing motion, pushing out like this. You kind of grab the trigger button. Push down to I can't do it with the table here.
There's a table here.
Yeah. And hitting the table makes people angry apparently.
Makes me angry. Stop hitting my table.
You do that, and the faster you do that, the faster your character goes. It's the most the basic version of it. There are other actions. You can jump, you can fly, you can etc. Yeah. And there are a ton of obstacles on the course. In some ways, it's very much like your typical kart game. There are power-ups and weapons you can get to give yourself an advantage, or at least to take care of your opponents. But that's broad brush strokes.
It's Mario Kart.
It's Mario Kart.
It's Mario Kart in VR where you have to make motions to do everything. And what I love about that means Mario Kart. It's got shortcuts.
Yes.
It's got power-ups. It's got speed boosts. It's crazy. And racing against other people, whether they be online real people or AI opponents, it's intense.
And it fixed the blue shell issue.
Sure did. There's no blue shell.
There's no blue shell, but there is a teleport power-up, which is really cool. So if you're way behind, I know we're kind of getting off track, but if you're way behind and you hit this power-up, it'll actually bring you to the last checkpoint that the last player ahead of you just hit.
Right. It gives you
right up to the pack.
Fighting chance to not come in absolutely last.
Without completely, screwing the person who was doing everything right and should by all rights be winning.
Yeah, no, it's the fair way to rubber band the race.
Yeah, well, there's some issues. I mean, especially playing with the AI, the rubber banding, especially if you're bad at it, like I was at first, you just find your opponents just kind of like turn and running into walls. And whatnot. So,
all right, we're all over the place right now.
Yeah, we are. All right, so
let's take this piece by piece.
It's
a racing game.
It's a racing game
that uses two move controllers.
Yes.
Now, first, right off the bat, I see in the comments under our review. I'm sure I'm going to see under the comments under this video, and the people are saying, "Man, I work so hard. I have a hard job. I'm tired. The last thing I want to do when I get home is use Move controllers and get a workout to play a game."
Okay, don't play it.
Totally fair. They're like, if this had DualShock 4 support, I would play it. Now, I don't think I would play this game if it had DualShock 4 support, because it kind of takes everything away. Because there's so many physical things you do while playing the game that just makes it that much more immersive.
Yeah, I would say, harken back to, I think, Dez's first main entry into the channel, not everything is for you.
Very true.
The developers had a very clear goal in mind. We want this to be adrenaline-fueled, crazy, moving around like a monkey. That's what they wanted the game to be, which is awesome. And if it's not something you want to do or something, then okay, that's fine. When you start playing to the middle, like, oh, we want everyone to be able to play this any way they want. Even though I do know we ring that bell for some things where we want Move controllers or whatnot. Yeah. I think it's something that this is so purely focused on a certain experience. That's I don't know. I'm gonna support the Servios for their decision on this.
Yeah, no, it sucks that everyone can't play it. I know there are people who are disabled and can't stand, and I feel bad. I see those comments and I'm like, man, I really wish there was a way for you to play this, but I don't think you'd enjoy it. So unfortunately, it's not for everybody, but for people who can play it, I think we need to talk about some of the many controls and the many things you're able to do in this game. Running straight out, we've already talked about.
Yes.
Strafing means you're doing the exact same motion, except you're turning 90 degrees this way or 90 degrees this way, and you would think that would be actual turning, but that's not how you turn.
No. And this is actually, I want to make a point that kind of Brian pointed out to me, because the first time I played this, I basically rage quit. I don't swear too much in my personal life, but there was a lot of that happening. Because the game basically starts you, it does a little intro thing, which is very cute. We'll talk about the story in a little bit. And then just, if you want to, it'll go right into your first race.
Yeah, it takes a while. It got irritating to me because I was like, just let me race. Just let me race. And they blast you through the first mini tutorial. Like, just here's how you move. And then like, okay, now you can race.
Yeah.
Or you can play these 3 other tutorials.
Play the tutorials.
I mean, seriously, as much as it irritated me that they wouldn't let me race right away, they should have made me do the tutorials right away, because these things are essential. There are things that they tell you in the very last tutorial that you should know right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like just how to do normal turning. Like they call it drifting.
They call it drifting, right?
Yep. But what it is you're moving, and you should always be moving with one hand, always accelerating. And then with the other hand, you're holding the trigger and the move button.
Yep.
And then you're going to turn that way. Like your character will turn. And if you want a tighter turn, you just pull that in while you're running. Or if you want a wider turn, you just let that out. And it takes a while to learn. These are things that you're not going to get right off the bat. Even jumping, 2 move controllers, 2 move buttons, or 1 move button, and you do one of these things, boom, and it launches you straight up in the air. You want to do a double jump? Do it again.
And you need to do a double jump. Get good at double jumps, because there are many parts of the tracks that are just impassable without doing a double jump. I found out to my chagrin.
There's also the jumps feel so floaty that often you're like, I'm going to fly right over my landing spot.
Yep.
So you need to learn how to crash land, which is both buttons, the trigger and the move button. I keep saying move controller. Move button, and then you will boom, just nosedive right toward the ground, which is super essential. You got to get real precise with your landing sometimes.
And 2, it's like, I don't understand why they did this. I think probably the most essential movements, that crash landing and drifting, because you can't get any forward speed unless your feet are on the ground.
Right.
And there's so many, just a tiny little jump, you don't even realize it was a jump, and then you're doing this, but you're not moving further So you need to learn, take a jump, crash, and again, what you intuitively think of as turning, they don't teach you until the very last thing.
There's quick turning too. So if you're midair or something like that, or you need to take a quick 90-degree turn, there's a button and then you're midair, you're still moving this way, but you're looking this way, and then boom, put your hands straight out and click those triggers, and now you're flying and you're heading in the direction you want to head in. And man, I love flying.
Yeah, one thing I would say, as much as I'm kind of an advocate for quick turning and things like that in most games, try to learn how to maneuver without Because what I found was before I knew the drift thing, I was trying to use the click turning to move around. And I got into that habit, and now I'm kind of trying to unlearn, because really you don't want to be touching any buttons other than the move button. There are many times when I thought I was braking, or then I actually hit the click turn instead, and So
all of these eventually are going to be absolutely essential, right? You get stuck in a corner, right? The crazy thing is if you suck at this game, like we all do currently. I know you think you're great at this game right now, although I mean I've played against some people that absolutely do not suck at this game.
Yeah.
But you get stuck in a corner, and your natural instinct is just to be like, oh, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? No, fucking click turn. Just do a couple click turns, boom, 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 get back on track, click turn again, boom, now you're good to go. Otherwise, you're going to spend like the next 5 minutes stuck in this corner, and it will frustrate the hell out of you, but the game gives you so many ways to get out of it. And if you really are stuck, and it's just like you fell behind something that you shouldn't be at, there's a button you can hold to bring up the menu in-game. I think you hold the triangle button, and then it says reset to last checkpoint. Right. And if you're that screwed, that option is there.
Yeah, one thing, I mean, I would appreciate, there's a little game called Crazy Taxi, I think. Or no, is Crazy Taxi the first one to have this? Or I know the Simpsons Road Rage had it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be great, too. Choose your own soundtrack. But, there's just sort of, I'm screwed. Give me a button I can quickly hit to just reset me on the nearest track. That would be great. I mean, this checkpoint thing, it sounds good. It does take some time. So it takes a lot, because when you open the menu, the clock doesn't stop.
Right.
Like the race doesn't stop.
It takes a second to open the menu, then you got to click the option, and then it brings you back further. Yeah.
Which I can see. I mean, yes, that's your punishment for being bad at the game.
Yep.
Okay. But when you're first learning, especially like when you're just on the tracks against the AI on the big game, it would be, for a game that's so much about flow, something like that to just get me right back in and going would be helpful.
What we're saying is learn the tracks. Mario Kart all the way through, the more you learn the tracks, like sometimes you're going over a jump and you're like, I don't know which way to go. I don't know, it looks like there's two different ways to go. Which way should I go? And then you end up like stuck in a corner somewhere. So like, learn the tracks, learn the best possible ways, and all of this stuff, all the controls, all the tracks, everything becomes more natural the more you do it. And once you get to the point where it's like all second nature, where you don't have to think about the buttons you're pressing, that's where the real fun begins.
Yeah, I would say too, learning tracks is a little trickier because, again, let's bring it back to Mario Kart. You do that lap 4 times or whatever.
Sure.
With all the tracks in Sprint Vector, it's one time through.
Yep.
It's just, I'm not going to say it's a straight shot because God knows it's not straight. But you have that one chance. So to learn the track, you have to basically just keep running that same race over and over again.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even talk about climbing. This is a very parkour inspired game. You'll be running as fast as you can, and next thing you see, there's like a wall coming at you, and so it's like, whoa, it's like a climbing wall. Yeah. Anything that's green, you can climb.
Right, anything that's green, you can climb, which is.
and so there's like these footholds and hands, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be like climbing, right? So you grab onto the first ones you see, and then launch yourself straight up into the air like fucking Superman, right?
In my rock climbing days, we called those dinos.
Perfect.
We're just
And so you launch yourself into the air, and there's walls that are completely green that you can just grab onto and launch yourself up. There are walls that are completely green.
Glide. What are they called? Glides. Oh my gosh.
You think about it, but there are walls that are like completely green, and you can grab onto, and you can just like drift right around them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just love the whole locomotion system in this game. I love maneuvering around these obstacle courses. You just feel so powerful.
Yeah. So there are some things though I do want to like. For me, Des discovered something about himself. Trying to learn these things during a race, like the part of my brain that's like, I want to win this. I want to beat these people. Yeah. Gets conflicted with I'm trying to learn this, and I get very, very frustrated very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I actually revisited it today because there's another way to race that's not multiplayer, that's not the AI, that actually gives you this opportunity, and that's the challenge modes. Challenge modes, there's only 3 tracks.
Nope. There's 9 challenge tracks.
9 challenge tracks?
9 challenge tracks and 3 options on each track.
Oh, okay. I thought there were only 3. So it's not 3. Okay, anyways. So take his word for it. Yeah. So the idea with the challenge tracks there's just a basic time trial. There's a coin collecting, and then there's the nitro, what's it called? A hardcore 1 death.
Yeah.
hardcore win. So with the time trial, it's exactly that. You have just a track, and you have to get from A to B as quickly as you can. And the best part about this is I can just work on my mechanics of moving.
Yeah.
I don't. There's there's a clock running, but when you're learning, who cares? I don't have to worry about the race. I don't have to worry. I can just work on
no opponents. Just go at it. Yeah, and I'll tell you that this is where I got. You're like, this is where you should not get stressed out so much whenever. No, this is where I get super stressed out because when I first played this game, I was like, all right, let me experiment with all the tracks. Let me play against racers. And then I found the challenge modes. And I was like, all right. And the only other person in the world who'd played this game before me was PlayStation VR Frank.
Oh,
and so he had the high score
on
the very first, and I was like, well, I apparently I'm doing nothing else for the next 2 hours of my life until I beat his score, until I beat his time, and that's and so I got really, really good at the first level time trial.
Okay.
Because man, I did not stop till I beat his time, and man, there was a whole lot of swearing going on in my living room. And it was a blast, though. It was a blast because you see the online leaderboards, and you're like, man, I gotta get better than that person.
Yep.
And it's so much fun because you're trying to beat your own record, but then you're trying to beat everyone else's record.
Yeah, I think I really biffed your averages, by the way. I was playing. Playing a cop. Yeah, so sorry.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
But and one thing I just want to point out about the coin capture or the coin collection mode. That's really good to play too because it teaches you how to think about the tracks differently.
Yeah.
They put the coins in non-obvious places, but they also let you see through. So like, as if there's a coin kind of behind a corner, you'll see like the image of it through the box or the corner.
Yeah, it's like silhouetted kind of.
Yeah, so it teaches you like how to not just focus on moving forward, but to look around the space around you and navigate. Take those really tight drifting corners to get to stuff. So. Yeah, I guess we've had two very different experiences. For me, doing the challenges was definitely the way to learn how to do this. But I think we can both agree, don't just jump in, do the training modes.
Yeah, tutorials are key. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much to learn, and it's almost mind-boggling at first. And then, again, like I said, it becomes second nature. Just don't give up on it.
Yeah. And so circling back to where we started this, Dez's VR motion sickness experience.
Please.
So again, we saw this like, oh, there's no way I'll ever be able to play this. You guys have fun.
Yeah.
And I got to say, out of every motion-based game I have played, should I just stop?
The sirens are so much. Now we have to play rock, paper, scissors, slap.
Oh, God.
I apologize to the MP3 listeners. You're probably driving around and thinking you're getting pulled over.
He's actually crying.
It was too hot in this place today. I just had to open the window, and now it's like louder than ever.
Of course.
Welcome to Worcester.
So, anyways,
motion sickness.
Just getting sick. Yeah, they did. Man, they did their homework. I think it's a combination of, first of all, the physical motion. Okay, just that in itself. I did find there were times when I was drifting along really long corners where I was kind of like, not necessarily doing that, just kind of holding, and my perspective was changing. And sometimes with really long jumps or flights where you're just holding your arms out, that got me a little iffy. But other than that, every time my arms were moving, I was happy. Another one, and for those of you who are kind of crapping on the whole eagle flight, they do that without, they do the
comfort settings.
Without you realizing that's what they're doing.
So I don't even know anything about this because the second I start any game, I turn all comfort settings off, and then I never play with them on unless people ask me, like, what are the comfort settings like? And no one ever asked me. So please,
but the comfort settings are built in. You were using them, you don't even know it. What happens as you start moving? Like once you start moving fast, what happens?
The little blast things come at the screen. Okay,
that's it. The little lightning bolts in your peripheral vision. That's their version of the comfort settings. They figured out that it doesn't have to be a black ring, just some kind of stationary thing in your peripheral vision. That's enough. So, and you'll find that only starts kicking in once you start moving fast. This isn't my theory. This is actually reading the developers.
But I clicked all the buttons off, so I'd like to see what the differences are.
Yeah, I don't even know.
If I click them all back on, I want to see what they look like.
But it's basically, they were saying it's those lightning bolts and things like that.
Cool.
That's their version. So between that and there's other little tips and tricks they did. It's good. I'm not going to say for those of you who are super sensitive. I will say I have come a long way since we started this whole experiment. So, I can't say that again, your mileage may vary, but for those of you who are like, I can't play Battlezone, I can't play rigs, you can probably give this a try.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's very good to know because, man, I don't want to say I was like losing hope.
Yeah.
But man, like I think the day we get you to play Battlezone without an issue is gonna be a great day. And the fact that you could play this, credit towards Servios and credit toward Dude for giving it a shot.
I would say there's no credit for me. These guys have just Servios, give like lessons, workshops, get other developers in there because you folks nailed it. There's no way I should be able to play a game like this, and I can. So, yay.
So just like we'll get some of the other basic elements out of the way here. There's
we haven't even talked multiplayer.
I mean, there's 8 characters to choose from. They're all kind of goofy looking characters. Which is nice because this game doesn't take itself too seriously, which comes across very obviously in the commentators.
Ready? Mojoverse plus Saga.
And that probably means something to some of you guys.
It does. So in Marvel Comics, Mojo has basically it's an entire universe dedicated to entertainment. Mojo runs it. It's mandatory watching, which they say there, and the entertainment is people dying. You're 8 different characters plucked from the multiverse, put together, and it's very strongly hinted and or said explicitly that you've been captured, and your deaths are quote unquote real. But the winner of the race gets their wish granted.
Yeah.
So it's
neat. Twisted Metal.
Yeah. It's Twisted Metal. Yeah.
The announcers of this race, I couldn't get it through my head. I mean, so I think they're kind of funny. They're interesting. I like them, but it gets very repetitive.
Yes.
And I couldn't get it out of my head that the male announcer was just Mark Hamill doing the Joker. 90% of the time, that's all I could picture was just the Joker like doing the commentary. It's like, this is very strange.
The only time I really was bummed out by the commentators is the developers. They're trying to help you. I know what they're doing. They're trying to help you and say, oh, you're stuck. Here's how you get out of this situation. But what they do instead is have the commenters, which is totally in character for these commentators, make fun of you.
Yeah.
It's like, look like this person hasn't heard how to double jump. And which, if you're already in the middle of a rage-fueled, panic, is not helpful. Right. So one of the happiest moments of my life when I went to the option setting and realized you can really fine-tune what parts of the audio are, in or out.
The audio setting is amazing. You turn commentators all the way off. You can turn voice chat all the way off, and there's sliders for everything.
Yeah, you can pretty much just have music and go. Yeah.
Speaking of voice chat, man, oh man, am I happy that the voice chat is only before and after the races.
Oh,
when you're waiting for a race to begin, you're at the starting line. You go like looking around. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's going on? Hey, oh, you guys ready for this? Oh, this is my favorite track. Whatever. Good. The second you go beep beep beep, bing, all voice chat goes off. Thank goodness, because I got to tell you, man, I breathe very heavily during this, right? And when I'm running, usually the straps of my move controllers are hitting the move controllers themselves. So it's like click, 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 and then you get the heavy breathing, and I'm like, I don't want to hear 7 other people all doing this.
Yeah. You played that guy on Spark who's just like, you shouldn't be playing this. You're a little out of shape.
Yeah, turn off your microphone, sir.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it'd be like with 7 other people like that. So,
but what's great is the second you cross the finish line, voice chat clicks back on, and you're in that little lobby, and you can watch the rest of the racers cross the finish line, or you can look at the scoreboard, and you can talk to the other people who have already finished. And so, but again, the voice chat only goes on as people cross the finish line. So you hear people constantly crossing the finish line, go, and it's kind of funny, to be honest with you.
So I will say, when I tried playing this, I don't know if it's the game or if it's my setup at home, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get onto multiplayer. So I want to put that out. Yep. I switched to other games. I was connected to the PlayStation Network. I could play Spark. I could play blah blah blah, these other games. But for some reason, every time I tried to do multiplayer on Sprint Vector, I couldn't. So maybe it was something with the way we had things set up.
Yeah, he's basically got my profile on his PS4, so I don't have to buy everybody all the games all the time.
I do want to mention, we are kind of raving about how great this is. That it was an issue I had. I don't know necessarily it has anything to do with the game.
And my experience has been completely the opposite. Every time I sign on, hello to every one of you that I've played against, and I love, they're like, oh man, this is only the second time I've played Sprint Vector, and it's the second time I've been paired up with Brian Paul, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, that's
that
pretty
means
cool.
one of us has no life.
That would be me.
That was mean.
No, that's me. I've got no life, man. All I do is play.
Yes, you do have a life. Your life is gaming.
My life is gaming. Yes. And to this game's credit, every time I've wanted to go online, boom, no problem. I always find a game. There's always pretty full lobbies, but also also to this game's credit, 5 games came out the same week as Sprint Vector. Sprint Vector was one of 5 PlayStation VR games that came out. And so when I was supposed to be reviewing Knockout League, when I was supposed to be reviewing Drunken Bar Fight, when I was supposed to be reviewing CubeWorks, when I was, you get what I'm saying here?
Yes,
I was playing Sprint Vector, right? And I was like, and there were actually moments where I was like, man, I'm sitting in front of my computer, my eyes are getting droopy, the coffee's not doing its job, and I was like, I need a little exercise, I need something to get the blood flowing. And I was like, I'm gonna go play some Sprint Vector for a while, and then see if that'll wake me up. And boy, does it ever.
Yeah.
That being said, holy crap, it's a workout. It's a workout. You will be sore the next day. It's not a game. Yeah, I mean, remember when Spark came out, and all of us were like, man, I've got my first official Spark injury. My shoulder hurts, my back hurts, my arms hurt. This is, in every regard, for me, way more intense. Or maybe just because I played it so long on day one.
Yeah.
But man, all of us are saying the same thing online. We're either out of shape and getting into shape, but all of our muscles hurt, man.
Yeah, I think we're drawing a lot of comparisons to Spark for obvious reasons. These are the 2 most physical games.
The only 2 games I sweat in on VR.
Yeah, and I think we might have a similar learning. My suspicion is we're going to have a similar learning curve with Spark. When everyone first plays Spark, it's just and eventually you realize that no, actually the sensors, if you go that fast, it doesn't really catch it. You need a little
more finesse.
A little more finesse. They like the longer arcing motions better. Yeah. My gut tells me we're going to find a similar thing with Sprint Vector. Everyone's trying it first, and they're just doing this as fast as they can.
I'm still doing that.
Yeah, and I think they even hint at it in the tutorial, saying you want a longer, more smoother draw. So I think that might be part of it as well. But hey, I'm it's only been a couple days, literally, that we've had this.
Yeah.
So
we're all still learning.
Yeah.
All right, so let's make sure we get all this covered here. There are 12 regular tracks to race on with friends or with AI.
And they get hard fast.
They do, man.
Yeah.
They do. A lot of obstacles, big open areas of toxic waste that you can't land in. But I got to say, if you land in toxic waste, you can, the second you hit the ground, you can still jump and then double jump out of it to save yourself.
Yeah.
And
it's tougher than he's making it sound.
It's wicked tough. And so get good. Guys, get good. In my review, I compared these levels to 16-bit Sonic the Hedgehog levels because it all feels like the same kind of convoluted, weird, futuristic, somewhat futuristic worlds. But if there's any chance of getting some DLC tracks for this game, man, I want them to go further with it. I want a Casino Night Zone. I want a Blade Runner inspired streets with neon signs and stuff with flying cars coming at us that we have to dodge. I want Green Hill Zone. Did I say Green Hill Zone? Because I want Green Hill Zone. There's nothing green in this game except for toxic sludge. I want an actual Green Hill Zone, man. Why not?
Here's the other thing. Actually, I'm gonna go the other way. I want just a circle track.
Oh.
Just I always like that with these card games.
You can play the skate park.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
race around with yourself.
Just a multiplayer, just flat out. I want to see how fast I can go against my friends.
Right on.
That
without the obstacles,
without the obstacles, just we've got a circle track, or figure eight, or just something simple like that, where, how fast can I go? That might be interesting too. The other little nitpicky thing too is you have 8 character models to choose from, and they're just character models. There is no, as far as we can tell, and I've read some other reviews also, there's no difference between the character models or classes, just basically a skin on you. So
and the more you play, the more you unlock with the challenge maps and stuff. You can there are costumes to unlock for each of these. If I had my way, which is again very nitpicky, man, I want a whole selection of hats and ties and jackets and jetpacks and all sorts of weird little things I could accessorize my character with.
Yeah.
Instead of just having these preset outfits, which are all a little on the generic side.
That's interesting. Kind of echoing our Mortal Blitz conversations. I don't care about that. I want to change the way I play the game. I don't care how I look when I play it. Yeah. But
anyway. There's not enough stuff for me to look at Des while we're playing online and go, whoa, you unlock that? Yeah. If he had some kind of crazy hat or something that I'd never seen, or weird goggles, I'd be like, whoa, where'd you get those?
Yeah.
But these kind of generic outfits, I don't know, they're kind of, it's okay, well, I've got the coins, I'll unlock these because I've got the coins. But I don't know, there's not a whole lot to it. We didn't even talk about the graphics. I think we should, obviously you can see it on the screen.
It's pretty.
It's cell shaded. It's very Jet Set Radio Future.
Yes, that's what I was trying to pull. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Yeah.
And I like it. I mean, it runs super smooth. I had no problem with any frame rates. I had no problem with any graphical glitches. You can see as far as you can see.
Yep.
Man, it's a very nice looking game.
And here's another thing. It's kind of hidden. They don't really say it out explicitly. Once you've gone through the first time you played, next time you start it up, and you're just kind of what you think is the menu screen, actually start skating around. That's a practice arena.
That's a skate park.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I thought you. Okay, I misunderstood. There's the thing that teaches you how to use the bonuses.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I thought that's what you're referring to. Yeah. So, and you can just kind of
turn off the menu, your own time. Goof around. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's our review. Except now we should probably score this sucker.
Yeah. So our rating system, as always, is number 1. You have to get this game. If you have the PSVR, this is something that's got to be in your library. Period. Stop asking questions. 2, pick it up. It's okay. It's great. If it's on sale, sure, why not? Number 3 is do not buy this at all. Friends don't let friends buy crap. We do not want to reward these developers for foisting this stuff on us. No. So what do you think?
It's a 1.
It's a 1.
Oh man, okay. There's never been a better one. In fact, this might be the most fun I've ever had in VR.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a big swing.
Yeah. Hands down. I've never had this much fun, and the more I play it, the more I like it. Man, I'm still sore from playing it, and I can't wait for like my sprint vector muscles to develop, because man, I love everything about this game. Even anytime like Des and I were talking at work about some of the slight things we don't like, and I kind of wanted to come to the game's defense and be like, no, but you got to get better, and really the better you get, the more fun it is. So I love it. Definitely a 1.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to rate this one. So I'm going to kind of put a little asterisk on this. Spark is still my number 1 favorite in VR, my favorite experience, my favorite physical experience. And I think here's the biggest difference. Spark, the controls are very simple and intuitive. Mm-hmm. You only have a few things you can do, but the complexity of the gameplay is from actually playing the game itself, if that makes sense.
Spark is the definition of easy to learn, difficult to master.
Exactly right. Yeah. This, I think,
it's hard to learn, hard to master.
It's very hard to learn. The as much as we both like this, the control scheme is difficult.
Yeah. It's the best they could have done given the controllers we currently have. But it is, it's just very difficult.
And then the tracks themselves are also very, very difficult.
Also
the
true.
Actual strategy gameplay is pretty simple. Go fast that way. Mm-hmm. So it's this kind of, I've been getting into Magic the Gathering again lately, and they talk a lot about like board complexity versus strategic complexity. How complex is the card to understand versus how hard is it to play? Okay. There are some cards that it's very easy to understand the card, but actually it turns out it has a very complicated thing. And vice versa. This was really hard to read, but actually pretty simple. I think this is sort of the issue. Like Spark, very easy to understand the basic concept. Yeah. A lot of strategy, whereas this, very difficult to learn how to use it at first, but the actual gameplay is... There's a long way of saying the way my brain works, I like Spark better.
Okay.
This is still really, really good. So if I said Spark was a 1, I'm going to say this is it's a 1, but it's a lower 1 than Spark for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We only have 3 ratings. There's going to be a lot of games that fall under each one.
I'm thinking like 1.25, 1.5, but I don't want to start getting into that territory.
We're definitely not going to do that. The numbers are almost irrelevant. There are 3 categories.
Yeah. So for me, it's a 1 with a little asterisk.
Sure.
If you don't have Spark, buy that first, and then buy this.
All right. The great thing about this is, and I will do my absolute best to get this up while the discount's still on the store.
Okay.
But it's for being $30. I know a lot of us expected it to be $30 with the discount. Instead, it was $30, and then it's only $24, I think, without the plus, $21 with the plus discount. Like, for $21, this is an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, and
for $30, it's almost an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, in a world where we're paying $20 for something that lasts 45 minutes, you're getting tons of value for the price here, no question.
Yeah. There's something special. I played with Dave Station VR online. I played with a bunch of game cats online, and there's something real special about coming up behind an opponent, and being like, what's the perfect time to fire off this weapon,
Yeah.
and then just boom, blast right past him, or like being in first place. And this is something that we didn't really talk about, but like being a racing game in VR, you're racing and you can look behind you, and when you look behind you, you can see like the group of opponents like gaining on you, and you're like, oh crap, and you kind of like boom, boom, and you double click that trigger and shoot a missile at the whole group of them.
And that actually reminds me of something that happened. So, did you ever like ice skate or roller skate when you were younger?
Yeah, both.
So one thing,
I had
like
Pac-Man roller skates.
The first few times I played this happened to me. I almost fell over.
What? Siren.
Oh.
All right.
Because when you're doing those things and you skid to a stop, you lean back, right?
Yeah.
It's so immersive that I hit the brakes and I leaned back and I fell onto my couch because I'm not actually moving forward, but I'm just so used to that motion. You kind of skid to a stop and you put your weight backwards it's so again, like you're looking behind you, you're seeing that your brain is like, this is for real, so much so that again, I fell on my ass because I was bracing against momentum that didn't actually exist.
With our rating system,
yes,
1, 2, and 3, there were a lot of people online that were saying, I don't play multiplayer. I don't pay for PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Is this worth it for single player alone?
That's you know what? I haven't played multiplayer and I still gave it a 1. So yeah. Easy.
I played for the first 4 hours I played. I didn't play against anyone else. And man, I had a blast with that. So just in case you happen to be one of those people that's still debating, you're like, well, I don't play online. I don't have PlayStation Plus. I highly, highly encourage you to pick this up still. It's still a fantastic game.
And we kind of, before we started today, we talked about this. I kind of talked about the different characters, how there's no difference. I would love, if we're going to do DLC and changes, some kind of team race thing. So in modern cycling and things like that, it's not just, me versus Brian. It's Brian's team versus Dez's team, and they kind of draft each other and help each other move through the pack. That would be fantastic. Some kind of team race where it's like my team versus your team. We're trying to screw each other over, and that'd be fun too. So
and it does. And I mean, hey, well, we're giving suggestions here.
Because you're listening, right, Serbios?
Right? No, absolutely not. But if you are, hey, what's up? It seems there's a little bit of something that's unrewarding, right? It's like if you jump in and you're playing online, right? People are coming and going as they please, right?
Yeah.
There's no big like tournament like thing, or there's nothing that's like, oh, Brian's gotten like 7 wins in a row, or there's no. They're
not the leaderboards.
But it's not it's just not keeping track of enough for me. Where I'm like, okay, I've got like this huge streak going. I should stick around while the streak's going. I want to keep playing while the streak is running. I'm like, okay, I started losing. I'm gonna bail now.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, these are very nitpicky complaints. This is a fantastic game, and we just obviously want it to be even a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, you guys, that pretty much wraps it up for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Make sure in the comments below, let us know what you think of Spark. I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat as us because, people love it.
What do they think of Spark?
Did I say Spark?
You did.
Well, also let us know what you think of Sprint Vector. Since you're already here, let us know what you think of that game, too.
I will say I have noticed a significant drop in people playing Spark in the past week.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I used to be able, because I play like during the day, and I used to be able to just fire up and play. And I think, the day before yesterday, I was like kind of so frustrated by this. Like, look, I want to play something I know how I can play. I fired up Spark, and there was no one on the North American servers.
That's bad.
Nobody.
That's bad. We need to sell more PlayStation VR units.
Well, I think, no, it's because everyone was playing Sprint Vector.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But make sure in the comments below you let us know what other games you want us to talk about. And that's pretty much it for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. I'm Brian Paul.
I'm still Dez.
And we'll see you next week.